Have you ever had to deal with a jealous boss? I know that many of you are or have, and that's what I want to talk about today. Hey, welcome back to Brain Candy. My name is Debbie, and today I want to talk about dealing with a boss who is, let's not call it a jealous boss. I'm not going to call her a jealous boss. I'm going to say if you're dealing with a boss who is behaving like someone who is jealous or insecure, that's what I want to talk about. So, in my own experience, a few years back, and it was probably it was more than a few years ago, but it was recently enough for me to be like, yeah, I can't even believe that I stayed in that, and you'll understand why in a second. So I'm working for this company, and I used to work for a temp agency. Because I have the attention span of a hummingbird, I don't like to do the same thing for too long, and that includes work, right? Now I'm self-employed, but back then when I wasn't, I liked temp work. I liked being at one company for a few months and then going to another company for a few months. And it allowed me to not only to meet new people, but to be doing different things, right? Because I was working in different capacities, from reception to administration to bookkeeping to, just about anything that had to do with like some kind of general office work, right? So I get placed at this company, and the company is fairly small, maybe 10 people, 12 people maybe. And I'm going to be doing reception / administrative assistant, okay? So my boss, I'm gonna try and make this as concise as possible in as little time as possible. I don't want this to be like a 40-minute video. So my boss, her assistant used to have the job that I was now in, okay? So her assistant promoted from the job that I was in to the job of being my boss's assistant or my manager's assistant, okay? And these two were like, as my mother would say, bench and behind. These two were close like butt cheeks, okay? And that was because, they'd known each other a long time, okay? So I come on the scene and I'm doing my job, and I'm doing well, right? Nobody has any complaints or whatever. So I tend to be a fairly casual, low-key type person, right? If I have to like dress up for work, I'm not gonna be in that job, right? So I also am very attached to the color black, okay? Almost everything I own is black. Almost everything I own is black, okay? So my general work attire would be like black t-shirt, black jeans, and a black blazer, usually with some kind of running shoe, typically Adidas, right? Sometimes Converse, okay? Anyways, I'm doing my job, and I noticed that my manager, she's acting weird, right? She's doing weird shit like, one day I came to work, and like I said, I usually wore Adidas to work, and I came to work one day in like my usual attire and a pair of Converse runners, right? Chuck Taylors. Cool. No biggie, no nothing. The next day, my manager comes to work in the Dollar Tree version of Converse Chuck Taylors, right? They're like, they have the same kind of look, but they're like, have all this patchwork shit on them, like, and do I notice? Yes, I notice, because she doesn't usually wear sneakers to work. She wears like some kind of a dress shoe, okay? Okay, fine. No biggie, maybe she felt like switching it up. So, we were going about our work days, and, nothing major is happening. But one day she starts to stand over me as I'm working, right? And she stands over me and she's looking into my head, like into my hairline and I'm like, can I help you? And she says, your hair is just so nice. I just want to like, why is your hair like this? And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this woman doing? What is she doing? Now she's really fucking annoying me. I just want to fucking punch her, right? And so I'm like, it's my hair. Like, fine. Then a couple days later, she and her assistant come over, and they're both looking into my hairline. Like, they're both looking at my hair. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? Maybe a month or two later, it's a nice summer day, and I decide I'm gonna break from black because it's really hot outside, and I wear not only a different color, but not pants, okay? I wore a dress to work, and it was red, like fire engine red. It's a nice dress, right? And I wore sandals, okay? So everybody, of course, is paying attention because I never wear color. When I tell you I never wear color, I never wear color, right? Ever. I mean, rarely, okay? So I wear this red dress to work, and everybody says, oh, that looks so great on you. Why don't you wear color more often? And blah, 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 whatever. Like, besides my lipstick, I mean, I don't wear color. Anyways, everybody's, oh, gaga, blah, 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 whatever. It looks so great. Yeah, okay, thank you, whatever. Cool. 2 or 3 days later, I get to work, and me and, a bunch of my other colleagues are sitting in the kitchen, and we're all, having our coffee and donuts or whatever. And in walks my manager. She's got on a fire engine red dress. And she's got on like 3-inch wedge heels. And she's not just going with the dress and the heels. She's got on gold jewelry. She's got on gold bracelets. She's got on gold earrings. She's got on gold necklace. This bitch looks like she's going out for dinner, like a really high-end social occasion. And she comes in and she stands in the doorway and she goes, hi guys. I shit you not. That's exactly what she did. And everybody turns around and kind of looks at her, and nobody really said anything. Nobody said, oh, nice dress or anything like that. Like, you could see the creases from whatever packaging she took the dress out of still in the dress, okay? So anyways, we all turn and we look at her, and I'm thinking, okay, now I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. That day after work, I'm on the phone with my mom, and I'm telling her about this stuff that's happening, right? And my mom is very, very straightforward. My mom is Jamaican, and she's very like, I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen, right? And as I'm telling my mom, she's quiet. And when I break at the end of the, at the end of the story, she starts laughing, her little sneaky laugh. She kind of goes, and I go, what's funny? And she says, you better start looking for another job because that woman is gonna find a way to fire you. And I was like, you think? And she goes, mark my words. She is, without a doubt, going to find a way to fire you. That woman is jealous, and she does not want you there. And I was like, she might be a little bit jealous, but I don't think she's like, I'm gonna fire you type jealous. And my mom was like, okay. And when your mother says, okay, in that tone, it's almost scary. So anyways, fast forward to a few weeks later, like, shit's still happening, right? There was one occasion where the office closed at 5 o'clock, okay? But everybody, if they're done with their work, they kind of start, trickling out before that. On this occasion, everybody was gone by 4:30. And because I was at the time the receptionist, my manager said that I had to stay until 5 and lock up and turn on the alarm. There was no one else in the building but me. Now, the main floor was like where the reception was, but there was also a basement to the building that also had an entrance, okay? And I'm terrified, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to be here by myself, but what am I gonna say? So I asked her assistant, I go, did you ever have to stay by yourself? And she goes, oh yeah. I think she was lying. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, everyone else is gone, and I'm sitting there by myself. One of the other managers comes back from a meeting, and he's like, hey, Debbie, and I'm like, hey, and he goes to his office, and then he comes back, and he looks at me, and he goes, are you here by yourself? And I said, yeah. And he's like, everyone else is gone? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, why are you still here? And I said, because Miss bitch face, and I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking, said that I needed to stay until 5 and lock up. And he goes, oh, no, that's not safe. It's not safe for you to be here by yourself. And the door is unlocked. Anything could happen. And I was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so after that happened, probably after my mom said what she said about that woman is going to fire you, I would say it was probably a couple of weeks later, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks later. And I walk into work. I remember it was a Monday morning and I hadn't even put my bag down yet. And there's my manager standing at my desk as I come in the door. And she says,
Debbie, can I speak to you in the conference room for a moment?
And I'm thinking, oh, my mother's voice is playing in my head. And all this time that this stuff is happening, I'm feeling like the universe is talking to me and saying, bitch, you need to get out of there. This bitch is up to no good with you. You need to leave. And I didn't listen. Even when my mom said it, I didn't listen. So anyways, I walk into the conference room with my manager and the HR lady is sitting in there. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that 2 weeks prior to this, I had a review that was perfect, flawless, no issues, okay? And I had been at the company for a year up to this point. So I get into the conference room and she didn't even sit down. I didn't sit down. The HR lady was already sitting, but my manager didn't even sit down. She leans down on the table and she goes, so we're gonna have to let you go. We're just feeling like maybe Debbie's not capable of doing the work anymore. And I was just like, since when? And that was all. I didn't even want to argue. All I felt was, holy shit, my mother was right. And B, thank you, Jesus. Thank God. Okay, I'm out. Bye. And all I said was, first I said, since when? And then I was like, you know what? Never mind. It doesn't matter. And there was an envelope on the table. I just slid the envelope over to myself and I went, thanks for the opportunity. And I walked out. Walked out the door. On my way out, I called my mom. On my way to the bus stop, I called my mom. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I was kind of quiet and she goes, you got fired. And I said, yeah. She goes, I told you. And then after I had the conversation with my mom, I called my daughter and she was like, hey, she picks up the phone. It was 9:30 in the morning. She picks up the phone. She says, hey, why are you calling me? Aren't you supposed to be at work? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh God. And I said, I got fired. And she was like, why do you sound so happy? And I was like, because I feel like the universe was telling me that I needed to leave that job and I didn't leave on my own steam. So the universe said, listen, I'm going to pull you out of there because you're not supposed to be there. There's stuff happening that you shouldn't be happening and you need to leave. I said, so I got fired. And she was like, so what are you going to do now? And I said, you know what? I'm just happy to be out of there. I'm just going to take a few weeks and figure out how not to get myself back into a position like that, right? With someone who clearly is intimidated, or I don't know what you want to call it. She's intimidated or she's jealous or she's just plain fucking mean. I don't want to be in that position anymore. I just don't, because I can do better. Do you ever feel like you're in a position where you can do better? Your spirit, your soul is screaming, bitch, you can do better than to be in a place where someone treats you this way? Do you never feel like that? I know you feel like that or you wouldn't be watching this video. If you are feeling like that, the start of that feeling is the universe. I believe it's the universe talking to you. And when I refer to my universe as God and her universe, And I feel like that is God and her universe talking to me. That is my soul, my spirit, or something saying whatever it's saying, and I need to listen. I've learned not to ignore those whispers anymore. I don't ignore them anymore, which is why I'm on YouTube. I have 2 YouTube channels. I have a lot of other I work online. I, please God, touch glass. I don't have any wood to touch, but I pray that I never get into that position again, because it does something to your spirit when you have to deal with stuff like that. It does something to your spirit, it does something to your soul, it does something to who you are as a person when you have to put up with someone who is like that manager was. And I know you've dealt with it before, or you wouldn't be watching this video. If you're dealing with that, start looking for another job. Start looking for another job. Start looking for another job, because that woman is going to find a way to fire you. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Peace.